Mary Beth and Angelo Patsalis, mother and father of the famous Pete Patsalis, right? No introduction needed. A lot of things went on this year. Unbelievable ride. We talked before the season, we talked during the season. You can't even describe what happened, can you?
Oh, not at all, not at all. Watching these kids from 8th grade, we watched them come up, and just to see them battle the whole time. And you were thinking when they were younger, hey, are they gonna? What's going to happen their senior year? Are we going to keep this tradition alive? Is it going to keep going? But I guess we all can see what happens when people work together.
Yeah. Now, Mary Beth, you and I went to high school together.
Right.
And back when we went to high school, they didn't have football teams like this.
No, well, we didn't have
Your
football
senior year.
my senior year.
Right. Yeah. Isn't it?
But even then, it wasn't the same.
From that perspective, it's almost hard to believe what it's become.
Right. The whole community involved. I mean, you go to that Lansing game, it was freezing cold. All the people without kids, senior citizens, young people without kids, you know, in that kind of weather, supporting our team was awesome.
I wanted to get your father in here, but he didn't want to come. But he said something at the beach the night of the parade that just blew me away, and I wish we would have had a camera on him. Dick Wayburn walked up to him, and he said to your dad something like, "How's it going?" And your dad said, "I just had the best 4 friggin' years of my life." That's from a guy that's about 75, I don't know, but I mean, a guy who's been around a long time, seen a lot. Yep. That to me is like a fantastic story to tell.
Oh, they didn't miss a game, him or my mom.
Yeah. Well, you know, every year they go away to Florida. They went away and they'd be for 2 months, then 3 months, 4 months. And they had a nephew in Tawas who they missed playing sports all the way through. So they both promised themselves that, hey, you know, when these kids get in high school, because again, he has another nephew that's in Tawas that's a senior. And he wanted to see him play, and he never missed a game this year. He was a very, very avid Mariner fan for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's a cool. It's a cool thing as a community to see the elderly folk get into it as much as the young people.
Right.
They do. Right. They love it.
Yeah.
They give up their Friday night from golfing. Got to be back from golf. You know, in August they're golfing still. Got to be back to watch the football game.
Now we go to Ford Field, and it's hard to describe. Now I guess we're spoiled because we've been there 3 times now, but it's hard to describe what I don't know. 5, 6, 7,000 people all in orange.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's phenomenal.
It was awesome.
It's phenomenal.
No, we were excited.
And you can't describe it. You really can't. You can't. You know, Pete was a sophomore 2 years ago, and the feeling that was this year, totally different from what it was in 2011. Just completely different. It was almost you were expected in 2011, and this was a total surprise here in 2013.
Yeah. You know, we had Coach Ron Glodich here a few minutes ago, and it's like, it's mind-boggling how this coaching staff and what they've done with these kids, right?
It is amazing, because like Angelo said, in 8th grade, they weren't that, you know, they tried, but when they watch them and they put them in their right spots, it's amazing.
Yeah. Somehow they focus them kids, they get them focused.
It's like some people will say to me, well, what about so-and-so? Isn't he playing there or there? And it's like, hey, nobody knows better than the coaches, right?
Right, that's right.
You should have learned, what is it, 23 winning seasons or something? You should learn, let the coaches coach.
Yeah.
And the kids buy into the program. If you tell them to be here at 5:30 in the morning, they're coming in February.
Yeah. We talked about all the support they get, you know, from team dinners, and your mother that does team dinners, you've done team dinners at the restaurant, you know, to how many coaches do their different things, to the statisticians. Jim Laboon was here, all these different people. And Jim made a really good point. He said, there are so many people involved that do so many little things, but all those little things are little things the coach doesn't have to do.
Exactly.
So he can coach.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I'll skip back to the game against Country Day and the famous play. Pete in the end zone catches us. It's like something out of a fairy tale.
That was awesome.
Or an NFL highlight film.
It was just seeing the game and how it progressed and where it went. I mean, in the past, you get the ball with 2 minutes to go and we're down in the 40, you weren't real confident. I mean, you could just feel it in the air that once we got the ball back, we thought something was going to happen. And when we were seated, you know, we're away from that play. So you see it in the corner, you see his hands go up, and you see the officials. Now he's just saying, put your hands up, put your hands up, and then when the hands went up, it was
So it's like that thing when, like the 5 seconds between the conference of the two officials then.
Yes.
Probably took about 45 seconds in
It
your
seemed
mind.
like it, yes,
Right.
because you're looking and you're just saying, put your hands up, and all of a sudden when they went up, you said, hey, it happened. It's
And then you because we made sure, because I wanted to see it on Channel 6, I ran the replay twice, so you got to look at it then.
Right.
And then there was other views that show up on YouTube and all these different spots.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and you know what, I do say that, thank God for their record that had the home field advantage, because that play at Country Day, is it a touchdown at Country Day, is it not a touchdown? But you know what, it doesn't matter, it's what you work
Well,
all
second
year for.
down.
That's right,
Right.
that's right, that's right.
Yeah. We won it in 07, we've been there in 11. You were a parent in 11 as a sophomore, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But that year wasn't like this year from the perspective of your son's a senior.
Right.
Exactly.
This is sort of like going from the dark room to the room with the lights are on, right?
Right, exactly.
You couldn't have written a better script.
No, I mean, all the way from, not only from the kids, but from the parents themselves. I mean, I saw a very close bond with, all the parents. We'd have people over at the house on a Friday night, and it got bigger, and it got bigger.
Yeah.
So it was like a little wave, a little storm that was going through. So not only were the kids very close, but the parents and the community became very close also. So these kids did a lot for the community as far as bringing everybody together.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to see Christmas trees with Rain City Championship on. You're going to
Right,
see
exactly.
that.
Right.
You're going to see coming up this winter, this next spring. You're going to see banners.
Right, you're going to see a lot from this. It's going to have a little, and hopefully the momentum keeps carrying on, which I'm sure it will.
Now, I no doubt in my mind it will.
Right.
Now, 2 nights in particular, 2007, 2013, Friday night after Thanksgiving at the Riviera Restaurant. You know what? We never videotaped that, did we?
No, we never got the speakers out. We never got it. Was you
It
couldn't.
was so
You couldn't.
I know.
It was just crazy.
There was nowhere to move.
It was absolutely crazy.
People were saying they were at the party, and I didn't see it. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't see
And
it.
in 2007, there was a lot of people, but there wasn't nearly as many as our
But you had
back
kids
room.
this time, you
Yes.
had parents, you had
Right.
Everything. You had all ages. I mean, it was from the back of the restaurant all the way out the door. It was full of people. And like Mirabeth said, it's almost, you can compare it to like a wedding. There's so many people there, you don't get a chance to get to everybody
Right.
because you're just having so much fun. It was.
07 probably from the business perspective caught you off guard.
Oh.
Because I remember it's like Angelo selling beer from everywhere. So it's all gone.
Ran out of beer.
Cleaned it all out.
You couldn't ask for a specific beer. You just asked for a beer and you got whatever you got. That's what it was.
And nobody argued.
That's exactly right.
But that I was over at Notre Dame Prep a week ago on business and talking to their athletic director who won a state championship in volleyball a week before us, and she remarked to me, "That's really cool, winning a state championship in football in a small town."
Yes.
She said that to me, and it's like she gets that, but I still don't think she gets the magnitude that it really is here.
Exactly.
Because it's for the whole community.
Yeah, it's
not just for the team.
Yeah, my nephew
Right.
was in from Tawas, and he just was in awe. Once we crossed McKinley, the side of 26 Mile with all the cars, at the gas station full of cars,
Yeah.
the fireworks
Yeah,
at
the
26 Mile. Then you come into town, and I mean, you couldn't even get through town.
Right.
He just was in complete awe. He said he's never seen anything like that, but on TV.
Right.
And I mean, so try and explain it to people, you had to experience, you had to be there
Yep.
to just get the feeling.
Now you've got two other boys coming up, so you're gonna go through this a few
I hope so.
more times.
I hope so.
Any remarks you'd like to add?
I just really want to thank the kids once again for using them as an example to bring the community together as they brought themselves together. And again, thanks to the coaching staff for bringing those kids together, which allowed the whole community to come together. And it was a total fulfillment for everyone.
Magical season.
It was a magical. It was
You
a dream
could-
season.
Yeah.
And I keep telling people, I'm out of tokens now on my ride because it's been a great ride in this amusement park.
Yeah.
I'm out of tokens now, but it's been a great ride.
Was there any specific one moment that that was the culmination of the year?
Probably when it was all zeros up there against Grand Rapids Christian. And I
Got to the
finally
sidelines.
over it. Because I tell you, I had come over to you and I said, if I could get on the, and Pete scored that touchdown in the corner, and I'm thinking, we're up 14, but there's still 2 in it. And I
Right.
wanted to wait, and then the interception by Matheson finally said, I got to get a hold of Craig now because, you're starting to feel a little bit. But, I mean, you look at the ride we had to come through. Marysville wasn't easy, Richmond wasn't easy, then Country Day, then Lansing Sexton. So every game,
Powerhouse.
I mean, was there
Right.
one moment, like I said, until it was all zeros.
But
Right.
every game,
That
those
was it.
boys just stepped it up one more notch.
Yeah.
They just played harder and harder, and
Yeah, it was
they
just
wanted it. Yeah.
unbelievable that way, yeah.
Yes, it was.
And we were the underdog all the way.
Yes,
Right.
every game, we're the underdog.
Yeah.
And as I heard in the finals, pretty much, even the announcers were saying Grand Rapids Christian up till the third quarter, and then we started talking about Marine City,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
it was awesome.
I remember
Great
in
night.
2009, somebody said in the crowd to you, well, that's the last good team we have. And you said, I hope not. My son's going to be playing.
He's coming around, yes.
I don't
Yes.
know, you know what, it's funny because when Pete was a sophomore and they had the banquet, they had all the seniors line up on the one side, and there was like 12 kids left. And we're like, oh my
Oh.
gosh,
It's
here
gonna
we
happen
go,
here.
what's gonna happen,
God, I remember in
And-
2007, that Flint Powers game,
Oh.
down 28-0, and people were leaving. I remember we were sitting in the stands saying, you gotta believe, and then we scored just before half.
Best ever.
And then we came out and scored to start the game. Now it's 28-14, and we're saying, you gotta believe.
I watched some of that this weekend.
Yeah, that was a dream. I
Which,
mean,
you know what's interesting about that? What I pull away from that is, that stuff there, I think pays dividends much years later.
oh yes.
For the coaches.
Yes.
Kids,
They
the
learn.
kids might not remember it, but the coaches do. So
Yeah.
they put them in a position to
Right,
make
to do what they
plays.
need to
Right.
do, exactly.
yeah, they do an awesome job with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you had the team dinner, they were real timid, right? And didn't eat much?
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, anytime you get 50 kids, they don't eat much at all. It's like a trough. You just put it out there, and the more you put it in, the more they eat. You have to
Yeah.
cut it off at
You
some
just
point.
can't put it out there, they just
They just keep eating it.
Yeah.
So,
So,